Have you ever been waiting for your turn to speak at a meeting and you feel your palms start to sweat, your hands start to shake, your tummy gets tight, and it all starts even before you open your mouth? Look, anxiety is real and it can absolutely ruin your life. So if you're someone that suffers from anxiety, please keep watching because this is for you. Anxiety can come in many forms: social anxiety, anxiety around speaking up for yourself, and of course, anxiety around public speaking. Now, all of these things can make life so hard to handle. And I used to be like that too. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 main things that worked for me to help me lose my anxiety for good. Stay tuned. Q&A Tuesday, all your voice questions answered. Hi, I'm 𝒂𝒗𝒆, founder of the Voice of Confidence Public Speaker Training Program, and today we're talking about anxiety in life and also when public speaking. Now, before we jump into the steps to help you overcome this, I want you to know what performance anxiety is. It's actually the same as a fear of public speaking, and it's one of the most common phobias in the world. It's so common, in fact, that many people choose jobs that don't require them to do any presentations of any kind just to avoid the potential stress. But here's the thing. When you avoid something that makes you afraid, it actually just makes it worse. So let's get this fixed, shall we? Step 1, reframe your understanding of nerves. Now, this is the very first step that I take with all of my students because it's the most important one. When our bodies go into fight or flight, it's because the amygdala, the warning system in the brain, has detected something that could be potentially life-threatening. It kicks in full gear to protect us from injury or death or worse, humiliation. What is imperative to remember here is the amygdala has been saving our lives for thousands of years, and it's the reason that we're standing here right now, living and breathing. So we really need to be grateful that our body is constantly on the lookout to keep us from danger. But here's the thing, the danger we are currently experiencing may only be perceived danger, not actual danger. And this is because of one or more negative experiences that we've had in the past. For example, maybe you were confident and happy as a child in elementary school, but then on your first day of high school in a new country or a new class, you were asked to stand up and read out loud to the entire class. Then you freaked out, you messed up. Maybe all of your fellow classmates started sniggering and making fun of you. That negative experience will be locked into the amygdala from now on, and it will kick into high gear when anything remotely similar to that situation comes up again. Now, what we need to keep in mind here is that is protecting you from harm. So instead of allowing it to cripple you and stop you, you need to instead understand the process and thank it for trying to save you. Now we can move forward to step number 2. Step number 2, mental rehearsal and actual rehearsal. Scientific studies have shown us over and over and over again that the brain cannot differentiate between something that actually happens or something that's imagined or visualized. Performance scientists have known this for a very long time. That's why the best athletes in the world all have performance coaches teaching them how to visualize that hole-in-one or the winning goal in that last 10 seconds of the game. The more you actively and consciously visualize the outcome that you want, the more likely you will achieve it. Now, this is how I did it as a performer and a speaker. When I first learned this technique years ago, I had the same problem as you. overwhelming anxiety. Even though I was singing full time for a living, it was sucking the joy out of every performance for me. So I studied NLP to help me get over it. When I was writing this very show that you actually see me performing here, I sat down with my brand new script in front of me and mentally rehearsed the entire show every single day, twice per day. Now, yes, tick, I had already learned all the songs, of course, and tick, memorized all of the stories. But now I had to work on getting the outcome that I wanted. My goal was a happy-faced audience giving me a standing ovation at the end. Then, to reward myself for giving a great show during my mental rehearsal, I would waltz over to the bar and order a French martini to relax and unwind after the show. I mentally rehearsed every part of that show right up to me going to the bar and drinking that martini. I did it every day, twice a day for 7 days. What do you think happened at the real show a week later? Was I nervous? A little, yes. But everything I had mentally and physically rehearsed went exceedingly well. The audience did smile. They did give me a standing ovation, and I did get my French martini reward. In fact, it still gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, how exciting it was for me to see that all play out. It truly changed my life. So do yourself a favor and start this practice today. Step number 3, change your words. When we say or even think over and over again things like, oh my God, I'm so anxious. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I could never do that. I could never speak in front of a big crowd. When we do that, we're locking in and learning those bad behaviors even more. You're building neural networks in your brain that will keep you stuck in exactly the same place. Fearful, anxious, nervous, all because of the thoughts that you're thinking and the words that you're speaking. When I was teaching some young performers many years ago, a few of the kids were complaining about how nervous they were about singing at the big Christmas Carol event coming up, where we were booked to perform in front of 20,000 people. Now, some of them were really freaking out, so we all sat down to discuss something that quite surprised them. I asked them, okay, what do you feel in your body when you're standing in line at Movie World waiting to get on the roller coaster? They all said the same thing. Excited. So I said, okay, describe to me what excited feels like. They said, butterflies in the tummy, shaking with excitement, adrenaline pumping, lots of energy running through my body. Ah, I said, that's really interesting. Now, can you tell me what it feels like when you're nervous and you're waiting to sing backstage? And they said, butterflies in the tummy, shaking, lots of energy. I said, wow, isn't that interesting? The very same things. Then a bright young 7-year-old piped up and shouted, oh my God, we're not nervous at all. We're nervous-sided. And that totally changed the game for all of them. From that day forward, we used the word nervous-sided to describe our feelings instead of saying nervous. You see, when you pay attention to the words you speak, your brain and your behavior will soon start to change too. One last bonus tip. When you're speaking or singing in front of an audience, make sure that if you make a mistake, you keep going. Don't apologize, don't stop, just take a breath and keep going. Every famous singer and speaker on the planet has been through this. Even Ronan Keating, whom I worked with on the Channel 7 show All Together Now, he told me during rehearsals that once he completely forgot the words to one of his most famous songs. It just flew out of his head when he was standing on stage singing to hundreds of thousands of people. He panicked and just sang the verse again and kept going. All those people were watching him. None of them cared. None of them even noticed. His mother, in fact, was in the audience that night And she didn't notice, and she must have known those songs pretty well. So whatever happens, keep going. It's one of the best tips that you'll ever hear. Comment below if this helped you today. Now, if you need some training in this area, my live coaching programs might be a good fit for you. So please check out the links below and see what programs are available. I'll see you next time. Bye.